We are at midweek. How about that? March 25th. This is Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill was a very well-known person in the self-help arena during the 20th century, especially the first part of the 20th century. Failure is nature's plan to prepare you for great responsibilities. Failure is nature's plan to prepare you for great responsibilities. Napoleon Hill. Look him up. It's an interesting character. And here is Reverend Christie with today's reading. And she says, or she asks, actually, where does your power lie? Where does your power lie? And the Audre Lorde quote is, where does our power lie? And how do we use it in the service of what we believe? Where does our power lie? And how do we use it in the service of what we believe? And the two Ernest Holmes quotes are the same regarding the power of the universe and encouraging us to feel it, know it, and then act as if it were true because it's going through us. And then he reminds us that the universe is run by an infinite mind and our life is controlled by our thinking. And how do we use this? Ignorance of it will free us ignorance of it will keep us in bondage, and knowledge of this will free us. So those are the quotes. And then Reverend Christie asks us, the question of where our power lies is at the center of our lives. And depending on whether I think I run my own energy or have access to all the energy in the universe, I'm going to entertain different aspirations. If what I believe is that I'm here to love both deep and wide, where do I get the power to operate unceasingly as love? Audre Lorde believed she was here to write, to speak, and to share her words. She was a prophet of authenticity and creativity. Her belief in the worth of her words, yes, gave power to what she shared. And then Reverend Christie says, we're fortunate that many creatives follow the urgings of the inner voice. Use the power that comes with inspiration and move ideas into our world. What we believe is put on a loudspeaker. How? By how we live and how we act. It's always advantageous to take inventory of our beliefs, including where we think the source of our power lies. And she asks, where does your power lie? And then going back to what we believe is put on a loudspeaker by how we, what she said, by how we live and how we act. It's not exactly the same, but it reminds me, I was at the gym several days, last weekend actually, and the friend that I meet at the gym and we work out together, my wife Barbara comes along sometimes as well. He's been working out at gyms all his life, and he studied to be a trainer. He didn't become a trainer. He was too busy at work, I guess. But anyway, he studied to become a trainer. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to gym equipment. And he saw me operating on one machine. It's actually a machine where you can push with both feet against the weight, or you can actually, the bottom has got a bar on the bottom, and you can use that. You put the ball of each foot on that bar, and then you push like this. So you're exercising your calves. That's the whole purpose of that particular exercise. And he watched me do it, and he said, you're doing it wrong. And I said, well, I watched how you did it, and I copied you. So then he said, well, do as I say, not do as I do. So, but he was joking, of course, but, but you get the message, right? So it's one thing to speak about how we should live in life. It's another to act it. And it's a big responsibility. So the ones of us who profess to be on a spiritual journey, And I assume that's pretty well everybody who reads stuff like this and listens to stuff like this. Well, not everybody, most people, right, would say they're on a spiritual journey. It behooves all of us to put our money where our mouth is, and in other words, to act as we speak. And it's not an easy thing to do, right? Well, it isn't. But if we truly believe what we say, then we have a right to do it. But also, going on from that, we don't beat ourselves up. Going back to the quote of the day from Napoleon Hill, we don't beat ourselves up when we fail. I mean, if I look back on the day and I think, I really didn't act in accordance with my beliefs there, did I? I didn't act in accordance with what I think. You know, if I was rude to somebody else in a store, for instance, that's not my belief system. But sometimes life gets in the way and you get upset and you say things you shouldn't do. But when we do that, it's just time to make notes of it and to say, well, that's something that really I shouldn't have done. And next time I'll do better, which is exactly what Napoleon Hill is saying when he says failure is nature's plan to prepare you for great responsibilities. And the difference between lots of people is how we respond to when we don't live up to our expectation, our own expectations. And so instead of beating ourselves up, we say, yep, I should not have done that. And next time I definitely will do better. And that is the way to handle mistakes. That's the way to handle, quote, failures, unquote. So I'm a center of divine operation and I'm completely supplied. Oh, excuse me, no way I'm yawning. I am a center of divine operation and I'm completely supplied. So what does that mean? Well, it means I believe that the power of the universe, the power of the divine, more so, is flowing through me. And when I truly believe that, I am supplied with all that I need. So Danielle Johnson should be doing her midday meditation if she's not already done it. Reverend Lissa Ryan will be back tomorrow at 9:15 Central Time. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully around about 5 p.m. And just a quick reminder, I'm going to plug my World Religions class. If you are interested in learning about more religions then and how they operate, how people think, and more to the point really, where they came from. You know, how did these religions come about and what are they and where are they located and what are their belief systems? Because we're living in an interconnected world, and where one time this would have been, this area would have been like 98%, well, maybe 95% Christian and then 5% Native American. Nowadays, that's no longer the case. You know, around the Woodlands here, the Christians are split between Catholic and Protestant. The Protestants are split between different kinds of Protestants. And then there's Hindu temples around here. There are mosques around here. There are Buddhist groups around here. There are, let me see, lots and lots of different ones. You know, I don't know if there's any Zoroastrian ones around here. You know, but there are Sikhs and there are Baha'i. So what are all these? So if you're really interested, well, the information is there on how to connect with the course. And I will be more than happy to see you join. So until next time, moving back onto a general theme, just remember, yes, we're here to show a good example. We're here to love. And the person that we start with is ourself, because if we don't love ourselves, we can't love anybody else. And that means that we have to forgive ourselves when we fall short of our own ideals. So until next time, namaste.